We're short of time, so I'm going to start talking before I've set up, but in a minute I will have to get on this computer and set it up. My name's Bob Ridge-Stearn, and I will say from the outset that when I responded to Phil's call for people to do presentations, I sent something in at the time when he was asking for 60-minute presentations. So I sent in, and it was accepted. It came back saying, very good, scale it down to 30 minutes. And also, your title, which was this long, can only be 60 characters. So, what you've come to hear, I really don't know, because the description, as originally written, is slightly different to what I'll be able to do. However, what you won't see is a PowerPoint, because what I want to do is show you something live, and it's a bit risky, because I've got to get onto our own Moodle system, and that's got to connect with Turnitin. So if you just give me a few minutes to connect this up. Yeah, good. Now, because I'm not using PowerPoint and I'm going to be showing live web pages, I do realize that you won't be able to read everything. But I will try and explain things as I go along. But I think it's worth doing this, because I was very frustrated for quite a while in seeing PowerPoints of something and never seeing the real thing. So this could fail, but in a way that's what it's like. Possibly. No, I shouldn't really say that. I work for Newman University College. That's what I'm logging into here. That noise is going to drive us nuts, isn't it? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, as I said, my description of this session described three different parts to it, and you might have come for any one of them, and I'm now going to try and shoehorn it into 30 minutes. You might have come because you're curious about this plugin, which is called Moodle Direct, which allows you to integrate with your Turnitin account. You might have come to see the process by which we tested it, because that also is interesting if you're thinking of doing the same thing. Or you might have come just because you're curious about Turnitin and this plagiarism detection system. So I'm not going to do a fill and ask you to stand up and sit down and put your hands up. It's too late for me to respond to your individual needs, so we will just get on with it. This trial came about from discussions at our Learning and Teaching Committee, which you might think is an odd place for it to start. But they were interested in talking about Turnitin use because they saw it as a pedagogical tool to help students with their writing, to help them reference better. So that's where it came from. The Learning and Teaching Committee then set up a working group called the Electronic Submission Working Group to conduct a trial. Now, in that group, you've got other people who are not necessarily concerned with learning and teaching. They might be more concerned with quality control. Exams and assessment departments were also involved. They were interested in processes, and we had student representatives. So this working group are the people who are taking part in the trial, and they include academics from nearly every department in our university college. It's quite a small university college, about 3,500 students, but we got a good spread of people involved in the trial. The trial consisted originally of 2 Moodle courses. Now, they've got strange names. They're called Blue Cat, Blue Dog. Later, we had to add a Blue Pig and a Blue Goat. They're only called that because our Moodle system is full up with courses called Trial, Test, Turnitin, Trial, Turnitin, Test. I had to think of something that I could remember. Also, they do stick in the mind of, they don't look like anything else. So this is the Blue Cat course. Just before I run through it, I need to explain a few things that the people involved in this trial got confused about. So when I was asking for feedback, I realized people were talking about different things. And it's terminology, really. I got some tutors saying, oh, we use Turnitin. My students use Turnitin. Now, that might have been true because our exams and assessment department have an account, our university college has an account with Turnitin, and papers are submitted normally to exams and assessment, not normally by tutors. In the UK, I would think, I'm guessing now, I would think that nearly all institutions go through iParadigms Europe Limited, which used to be called N-Learning. Now, they've got a website called www.submit.ac.uk, and that's where papers are submitted to. It's a different site to the American site, which is run by iParadigms Limited, and the database that the papers go into is different in the UK. They're not compared with the American papers. Some of the databases might be the same, but they're separate databases. Okay, this, I should say also, I was determined not to do a preamble, but I can see I'm doing it. I must say there's some very clever people here who have designed all sorts of modules and plugins. Not me. That's not me. I just took this and used it. Now, I've been testing another Turnitin plugin for a couple of years, and it wasn't successful. I haven't got time to talk about that one. I'm talking about the Moodle Direct one. You pick this up from Moodle.org. It's a plugin that you can download for free there. In the UK, it's supported by iParadigms Europe. So when you phone the help desk for your Turnitin account, they know all about this plugin, which is very handy. Okay, now, the motivation for us trialing it was probably fivefold. We wanted to speed up the feedback turnaround, and we thought we might be able to do this if we go to electronic submission. We wanted to reduce the physical storage requirements in our exams and assessments department. So if we didn't have lots of paper going in, that would help there. We wanted to meet student demand for electronic submission as we perceived it from things like the National Student Forum. And we wanted to facilitate richer feedback, which we thought we might be able to do by providing electronic feedback and marking. And finally, as I mentioned before, we thought by using Turnitin, by giving sight of the Turnitin Originality report to the students, we might be able to help them with their academic writing and their reference. So these were why we started trialing this. Now you might think, well, we could have had electronic submission years ago to Moodle, and indeed we've used it on an ad hoc basis in our institution for a while. Tutors could opt to use the Moodle assignment tool. What appealed to us about this was the integration with Turnitin, first of all. And secondly, that it allowed anonymous marking, or blind marking. Now, we have got around that with Moodle, but it's not 100% successful. And it does seem to work very well with this plugin. Okay. If you saw my blog entry for this conference, I described some of the process, and I'm going to add to it because I know there's not going to be a great deal of time later on. So this is the first course. The people were enrolled onto this course as students. I was the tutor. They had an assignment to do. This here is the icon. I know it's small. Is the icon for a Turnitin assignment. And they would click on there, upload something. I would then mark it and provide feedback. And they, through this forum here, had to provide feedback on two things. What it was like to upload, and what it was like to see the Originality report, and my feedback. Now, I will very quickly show you how you make a Turnitin assignment in Moodle. Okay, so you turn editing on, so it's so far so good. It's an activity. It doesn't appear in the assignments list. It appears as a Turnitin assignment there. Okay, you click this. Now, if you're familiar, I know you can't read this, but this looks very much like a Turnitin assignment screen where you set up the Turnitin assignment. A Moodle assignment. Sorry, it looks very similar to a Moodle assignment. There's one big difference. There are no dates on here. You set it up, so I would put in a title here. Let's just call it XXX. And you'd write some instructions here, www, and you would say whether it was file upload or a text submission where they're just typing in text. A few other options here, one of which is anonymous marking, yes or no. Okay, and you can set here whether the student sees the Originality report or not. Now, in our place, academics are divided as to whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, but you have the option to choose. One of the things that came out of our trial was that we thought it wouldn't be a good idea to allow the academics to choose, and you had some students being shown the Originality report and others not. So this is something we've got to sort out in the future, but there's the option, show them the report or not. You can allow late submissions, yes or no, and you can generate the Originality report from Turnitin immediately, or you can leave it until the deadline, which they call the due date. And you can store the papers submitted or not store them. Okay, you can check various things. You can check whether the student paper is compared to the internet, to websites on the internet, to journals, periodicals, and publications in the database, the Turnitin database. And you can exclude things. For example, you can exclude the bibliography. There are problems with that, but you can exclude quoted material that the students have put quote marks around, and you can exclude small matches that you can define. You can say exclude matches of less than 8 words, or exclude matches of less than 5%. So what you can see, and you can use groups as well, Moodle groups. What you can see, there are lots of options, and what came out of it for us was, if we allow the academics to set all these, we're going to get so many different experiences for students. Maybe it would be better to set them up centrally and make it an admin function, but that's got other implications. Okay, so you save this. This is my new assignment. You'll see it on the page in a second. Now, for this to work, I told you downloaded the module, the plugin, sorry, from Moodle.org, and you've got to have a Turnitin account. The add-in is free, but obviously the Turnitin account, well, I'm saying obviously because I've got no idea if you have Turnitin, you pay for Turnitin. Okay, when you set up this on your Moodle, you have to then configure it to shake hands with your Turnitin account, and so when I'm setting something up like this, it's linking to our Turnitin account. Okay, here we have the XXX, that new assignment. Now, if I click it here, it's at this stage that you can put the dates in. So I've got here start date, date and time, due date, which is what we call a deadline, a post date, which is an American term, but this is when the results get posted. So this is a third date. Now, we had lots of discussions about the use of the post date. Things can happen on the post date. For example, you can release all the marks on the post date. If you set it up as an anonymous assignment, the names get revealed on the post date. Okay? What this didn't have for us was a second deadline date, but neither did Moodle. But we did used to have this when we had WebCT many years ago. And this is good if you want a deadline on your late submissions. All we can do is set late submissions, but it doesn't cut off. Okay, so here we can set the dates and we can change the assignment part. Notice I'm logged on as a tutor and I've got 4 tabs here. I've got a summary, I've got submit paper. Now, if I look here, I can submit a paper for a student. I have clicked it. You can see the time it takes to react. Seem to have lost my mouse. Here we go. So I can see all the students enrolled on that course. I can click on them and then I can upload for them. This may or may not be useful. I don't know. Submission inbox and options. Options you can... there are a few more Turnitin options here. And it's concerning whether we use GradeMark, which is a piece of software, an application that comes bundled with Turnitin, if you want to use that to send the grades to the Moodle gradebook. Okay. I'll just go back to the front page. Now I will show you the assignment that we used for this assessment. First of all, I should explain that this website has got lots of resources for students to explain and guide them. So the people on the Electronic Submission Working Group were the students, I was the tutor. I gave them all this advice, and I even gave them, although students might not have this, a one-to-one session about it. A lot of the feedback was we didn't know what to do. Now there are videos here, there's users' manuals, there's all sorts, but they never found it. They never clicked the link. Now if they don't, you can be sure students won't. So it's something else we have to think about and deal with. Okay, this is the assignment, and I'm logged on as the tutor. Okay, now if I look at we've looked at the submit paper, that allowed me to submit for them. If I look at the submissions inbox, okay, the assignment is on the left here, which you can't see there, and if I expand it, I get all the names. Now, the post date has changed, so I can see the names. Sorry, it's so tiny. I can see the names here, and this Turnitin, if you use Turnitin, you know that the Turnitin community is divided about whether we should color code these. We've got the percentages, and what that is a percentage match to something else. Now, when it says 100%, that could be one match of 100%, or it could be 100 matches of 1%. It's quite involved in interpreting originality report. Similarity indexes. Okay, I won't go through it here, but those are the similarity indexes. Now, this is quite cool that we are in Moodle and we are seeing this report. We were very impressed with this. Now, the students normally, these particular students, I think all of them, bar one, submitted a Microsoft Word document. Now, I cannot see the Microsoft Word document. What I see is the document in a viewer. Let me just show you one. Let's see. Okay. First of all, if I just pick on a student, when I click their name, I go into their Moodle profile. Again, we thought that was quite useful. And of course, you could email them from there. Now, if I click, the file says pets. If I click pets, you watch what happens. A new window opens. Now, it's got redirected. The URL says HTTPS submit AC UK. So now we're out of Moodle. We're not on my system. We're looking at the student's work in a viewer. Now, that's not the Word document. You can only view them online. This was an issue. Some people thought it was okay, lots of people didn't. Okay, so I, as the tutor, then marked their work. Now, when the viewer opens, let's just maximize it, we see the work here on the left, and you can adjust the magnification. This has been marked. It's got a similarity index of 82 there. It's been given a grade of 45 there. Now, top left, I've got 3 buttons. Originality, grade mark, here, grade mark, and feedback. These are 3 applications that come with Turnitin. In the Moodle integration, the feedback doesn't work. It's not available. So we do have access to 2. The Originality report works like that. So if I click it, this will change. Prior to this, it says no service. As soon as I click Originality, I get the service. So this is flagging up similarity. Okay? I haven't got long enough to go through how Turnitin works, but it's very good that we haven't had to switch out to submit AC UK. It's redirected, but the student is still working in Moodle as far as they're concerned. The tutor also, I forgot to mention, another reason why this suddenly became something worth looking at was that it populates the Turnitin classes with the Moodle enrollments. So they were already made for us. We didn't have to go to Turnitin and create the classes, which was a stumbling block for us. Okay. So here we can click on a source and it will highlight it. We can click on the number of the source here and it will show it in a window, show it in its context. We can filter this, so we can click down here and we can change whether we exclude the bibliography. Because sometimes you set it on the assignment, but when you're marking it, you might want to fine-tune how you're looking at the paper. Okay, so I then marked it. Now, I will close this viewer now. When you work in the viewer, there's no save button, it's all live. So when you close the viewer, it's saved. The students in the Electronic Submission Working Group uploaded files, I marked them. So then, what they had to do was, and I will show you that process in a minute, but let me just show you the student's point of view. I'm going to switch my role now to student. Okay, I click on the assignment as the student. They only see 2 tabs. They see the summary of this assignment and they see a My Submissions tab. When they click My Submissions, oh, bother. Okay. I'm not logged in as a student. Yeah, they can upload here. It's a very simple process of uploading, as you can see. They browse for the file, they upload it, and they can give it a title. This title, such a simple thing, caused much debate. What should the student type in there? And this became one of the issues with our trial. What naming conventions, if any, are we going to have for the file name? And what conventions are we going to use for the submission title? And will the students pay any attention to whatever we ask for anyway? It does become a bit of an issue later if you're trying to get the Word documents, because they get renamed. You can find the Word documents. They're stored on Moodle, as well as in the Turnitin database. They are in the Moodle course, but they're all in a different folder, and they get renamed, so it's not very easy to find them. Okay. Do you realise what's happened there? I can't... what I should do is log in as a student, which I will very quickly do. Participants. Sorry, have I... yeah, return to my normal role, absolutely. Participants. Okay, who's a good person here? Oh, they're all good people, really, aren't they? Oh, no, she's got extra rights. Okay, this person has got standard rights. I'll log in as her. Okay, continue. So I'm logged in as Jennifer Daniels. If I click now the assignment and go to my submissions, this is not going the way I want. I'd have to log out. Okay, I needn't show it that way. Let's go to the assignment again. I'm me now as the tutor. Okay. Here's the document viewer opening. Now, the student sees exactly what the tutor does when they look at Originality. What the student also, the student also sees the grade mark button. Now I'm going to click this. This is the online marking tool. Now, this does work, but the feedback we got on it was not positive. It started off being positive, but the more people used it, the more issues there were. So I'm looking at the student work now, and I can highlight something. Okay, so I've highlighted this paragraph, and then I can grab a comment from this. It's called a quick mark library of comments. So I can click this, commonly confused, and then that comment is here. When you hover over it as the student or the tutor, right, let's move it up a bit, then you see the contents. You can put hyperlinks in there. Some people thought this was very good. So you could hyperlink to resources on your Moodle site as well. So if you want to say you should have looked at this, or you should have referenced this work, you can link to it. If you've got a student with terrible grammar and you, instead of just saying this is an apostrophe mistake, you can link them to an exercise about apostrophe use. Some tutors thought this was spoon-feeding and extra work and completely unnecessary. Some thought it was very good. You can add these comments, and you can add ad hoc comments as you go. So you can just click comment there and type a comment. And then you can save that comment into a library of comments. So you can have a number of different libraries. You can have, and you can share libraries as well. There are people who think this is a wonderful system. Kath Ellis, who you might know, has been doing the rounds, really, advocating it. What we found was a lot of our tutors thought it was a bit laggy. They didn't like the fact that you can't position the comment very precisely. You can move it around now. Oh, sorry, I've just started a new comment there. I can move this comment around, as you can see. And it will link to the text with a line. I think it's a matter of getting used to it, but the initial reaction from the working group was, I think, overall they thought it was laggy, it was a little bit slow, and it was imprecise. We also have issues, as I'm sure everyone has, with some tutors wanting to use a pen on paper. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that filtered through as well. They didn't want to use this. The other issue was you've got to be online to use it. You can't download it. Okay, so, but what I would say, it works well. Our trial was a bit skewed in that on the afternoon, all the academics went off to use it. It was unusable. It was just so slow. And people were getting script errors as well on some browsers. When I phoned up iParadigms, they looked into it and said, there was a problem with the Turnitin server on that day. Well, they said for a couple of days. Now, because we're not using their interface, even if they'd put a message up, which they didn't, saying, we've got problems, we didn't know. Now, if we'd known, we could have all said, we'll do this tomorrow. But we got loads of negative feedback. And also, loads of criticism of our own IT department, who were completely innocent. It wasn't our network slowing anything down. But it did highlight the fact that you are then using a system that you've got no real control over. Okay, I'm going to close that course down, and now I'm going to show you a course called the Blue Dog course. Now, the Blue Dog course is designed in a different way. We set up assignments in the name of all the people in the working group. And those people are students on this course, but we changed local permissions to give them teacher roles on the assignment. And we uploaded 3 identical files to each assignment. So these people went into the assignment as the tutor, and they marked the 3 assignments we had uploaded. There were various types of document. Some people thought it was okay, some people couldn't get on with it at all. Some of the people who thought it was okay have started using it with their students. And we've got generally a negative response from using GradeMark. Very positive on student uploading, very positive on students seeing the Originality reports and using them with their writing, but negative on the GradeMark. Now, the problem is, you could say, okay, don't use GradeMark, but they haven't got the Word document. So, I haven't got time to go in, but I hope you can see how the assignment worked here. And then they fed back into the forum. Now, feeding back into the forum was very good, rather than asking for feedback individually, because they saw each other's feedback, and it became richer, because they were saying, I had that problem, or I didn't have that problem, maybe you're doing something wrong. What came out of this part of the trial was, they wanted another 2 trials. They wanted to trial Moodle assignment as... Now, we've had Moodle assignment for years, but they wanted to put that through the same process. So that's why we've got the blue goat and the blue pig. So they did exactly the same with Moodle advanced uploading of files assignment. There, other issues came up, like when you were going to give your presentation, the lady before me, it didn't have PowerPoint 2007. I had falsely imagined that every tutor in our college had Word 2007, and they don't. But I didn't know until I was explaining how you use Word comments. And it was different in the 2 versions. So all sorts of little things came up that we now know, and we didn't know before we did this trial. It's inconclusive. The working group hasn't made a decision on what to recommend to the university yet. In fact, we've employed a consultant to come in and he's doing a scoping exercise on what sort of assignments are produced, because believe it or not, the exams and assessment department haven't easily got this information. So we want to know how much assessment's done through wikis, through blogs, through non-text assessment that cannot be submitted in this way anyway. I think I better stop there and I know we're running out of time, just take a few questions. But I will put more information as the second posting on that blog, because I can think of questions. Yeah.
Just one quick point. I'm using the gradebook as well, and there is a download original assignment button on it, so that at the point of marking they can download either a PDF generated version from the website or the actual original document that was uploaded.
Excellent. Do I have to repeat that for the mic? Okay. I think the suggestion, which is great if it works, is I can grab all the Word documents by using a download function in the gradebook.
Yes, a little button at the bottom of the screen. It looks like a little tray with a...
Right. The reason I don't know about this, and I should, and I'm very pleased you've told me, is because we don't use gradebook. Because we don't use Moodle assignments systematically. But I will look into that. That might solve a big problem. Was there another question? Yeah.
I think you said, Bob, that you could set up the Turnitin assignment to be anonymous, and then
yes.
A certain figure it then became non-anonymous. Is there any way to force it to remain anonymous? Because we have an institutional policy of anonymous marking. Could we appeal counterintuitive to that, where it was?
Okay. I think the short answer is no. How it works is, instead of seeing the list of names, you see buttons saying anonymous. If you click the button, you can request to make it not anonymous. Nobody gives you permission. You reveal the name, but before the name's revealed, you have to type in your reason. But all the names would become visible on the post date.
That's what we do. You just set the post date for as far in advance as you possibly can. What Turnitin are you using? 2.0? What Turnitin version are you using for your college?
Turnitin version? Yeah, 2.
Okay, so with Turnitin 2.0, you have the capability you can make your assignments anonymous. Just say yes, and then it will be for all your courses, all your assignments will be anonymous.
And the Turnitin direct plugin will do that with the direct plugin.
But don't you get the button to reveal them?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a procedure of the administrator to do it. Okay,
I think we need to check that, because my understanding is we've got it ticked on the Turnitin options page, anonymous.
Sometime last September, this Turnitin 2.0 came in, and they have the capability.
Okay, because I thought that allowed you to make it anonymous, which we can do. Yeah.
Okay, we run semesters, like we run 3 semesters in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you usually do as a strategy to, suppose in a following, this semester you want to retrieve some assignment from the last semester?
This is only a trial. I can't say we've got these systematic processes in place. But why is it a problem? Why don't you go to the assignment and pull it?
The thing is, we have courses designed. We have already scheduled the resources in the course, so we move students from course to course. So one student is moved from one semester to another, they are removed from the plugins. So you cannot access the Turnitin assignment again once they are removed from another student.
What if you back to the area?
That's what I wanted to know. What is the strategy in your follow-up?
Okay, we keep our Moodle courses open for the students who have done it. So the students and the tutors can go in and get it.
Okay, so but doesn't it fill up your disk space on your...
We've got different instances of Moodle for each academic year. Yeah. So
you enter marks and grades. If I go into the grades area in Moodle, are the grades fed back into it?
yes, but we haven't tested the grade book because we've not used it. But that's my understanding. Yes. There's an option for allowing it or not.
Can I just get this one last question?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
A couple of points really. If you have a report and share that, that would be great. And really elaborate on why, we had a big discussion about rate map. I'm just wondering if you could elaborate on why staff didn't like it.
Okay, I will put the findings as a second posting on the blog. I think the main reason they didn't like it was a feeling that it was slow, that there was a lag between what they were doing and what was happening.
Okay, on this, I want to light on something. Turnitin is an eye paradigm, as you said. It has mostly happened with us, like we are using this Turnitin plugin from last 2.5 years, and whenever students, like more than 50 goes on the link simultaneously, the Turnitin website goes down, and it's like grade mark, it's like teachers are also using it simultaneously, so it becomes very slow. So that is the reason that teachers usually hate doing it, grade mark.
Did you say you've been using the plugin for 2 years? Okay, that's not this plugin though, is it?
No, this is, we've been using basic plugin and now we are on direct plugin.
Yes, the basic plugin was basically a separate thing.
Yes, what happens here? It takes the student to the Turnitin website,
Yeah.
while simultaneously they are on the Moodle website of their course.
Yeah, we rejected that one. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.